So the reading of Genesis 37. Okay, so Joseph was sent out. You see, first of all, it says Jacob settled in Canaan because we were foreigners, strangers in a strange land. This is before Canaan was given to us. That was given to us with Joseph and the tribes for the Canaanites, and we were given the land of the Canaanites. But until then, we were just foreigners in a strange land. Okay, so you see here, he went and he sent Joseph to check up on his two half brothers. Okay, so these half brothers were children that he had with his two maids, and one of them was from the tribe of Dan. And the tribe of Dan is the one that broke up the tree of life. That is the tribe of the Antichrist. So as you can see, he went to check up on them, and they were doing some bad stuff. And he went to report to his father. So they got angry and they wanted to kill Joseph, right? But one of his brothers convinced him not to kill Joseph. They said, let's put him in a pit, and let's not how you call it, let's not kill him. His intentions were Reuben wanted to go back and come and get him later on. But what happened was that they sold him. Who did they sell him to? They sold them to the Ishmaelites, right? The traders. They sold Joseph to him. And who is Ishmael? These are also our half brothers. These are the Arabs. So you see how from the beginning of time they did human trafficking. So who is Ishmael? Okay, let me show you. Okay, so if you look at the reading of Psalms, excuse me, but before we get into the reading of Psalms, let's do Galatians 4. So the reading of Galatians 4, it tells you that Mount Hagar by the Arabs, that is the Abraham's slave wife. So Abraham had two wives, but the covenant was made with Abraham and Sarah and Isaac, right? Not Ishmael. So this is the slave system that they gave to us. This is the Abrahamic religions. That they enslaved the world to this Abrahamic religions. So that is just Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. All of them. They're all the same demon. So then the Torah, the law, the mother city, this is that is Torah. There's two mothers. So if you read the book of Revelation, it tells you that there's two women in the heavens. One that got drunk of the blood of the saints, but this one during the Inquisition. So we're going from the Inquisition to the Jihad, right? Because they're switching, the dragons are switching right now. And then there's the one with the 12 stars on her head that represents the 12 stars of Israel. So when we fell in the captivity, we were led away, and she wept as her children were led away. But now the Ruach is back because the 400 years are up, and she walks with us right now. So also in the reading of Psalms, it tells you that Ishmael joined Rome and other nations to enslave us and to get rid of us. So you see, the Ishmaelites, from the very beginning of time, have been enslaving us, and they're doing the human trafficking today. They're the same people because they joined Rome, and Rome is just the opposite of our laws. Emor is our laws, right? Emor, and they are Rome, which is the reverse. They represent the opposite of Abba's laws. So that's what they are. So like I explained, there's two women there in the heavens. One that got drunk of the blood of the saints, that is your goddess Mary, that goes by many names. Then there's the Ruach, wisdom, with the 12 stars on her head that represents each tribe of Joshua because she lives among the children of Joshua. So here she is. This is wisdom. Wisdom is the book of Yah's commandments, the law that will last forever. For she is a widow. We were taken away, and she cried because we broke Daddy's laws. So Daddy's laws and Daddy's feast days is called Emor. And what is the opposite of Emor is Rome. So Rome represents the opposite of what Daddy's kingdom represents. So as you go to Galatians 4, these are the Abrahamic religions. This is Saturn worship. You see, this is, so Mama represents the heavenly Jerusalem, Daddy's Torah. And here, this is the slave wife and the slave system that they gave to the world. So this is, they're all Iranians. That's why you see right now how Islam is rising, because they created Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. And Christianity was the one that changed Daddy's feast days to pagan days. Daddy's name that saves, the only name that saves. And Daddy's also Sabbath day, his holy name. They changed this. So we'll find that also in the reading of Maccabees. As you can see in the reading of Maccabees, this is when they got rid of our stuff and they made us to eat swine, and that's replaced all our our feast days with their pagan holidays, and this is when they hunted down our people. This is the last kingdom to fall, which is the southern kingdom, and they hunted down our people to burn our books. Anybody that had them got murdered. That's why they said they got drunk on the blood of the saints. And they rewrote our books. This is when they say that the testigos, the two testaments, the testigos died because they took our books, the old and new, and burned them and rewrote them. And if you see Elon Musk, there's a video of him saying how the new Bible is going to be coming from ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt is in Texas, Tennessee. That's somewhere they're taking our people right now to slave camps there, because we will go back as slaves into Egypt again. That's what they said, right? So because they're breaking covenant. If you're breaking covenant, that's what's happening, because daddy starts at his house first. We're under judgment right now. So you see, so this is what took place, and it's going to happen again, because they're going to kill the testigos again. People are going to die for this book, and they're going to rewrite it again. Just like Elon Musk said, that the new Bible will be coming out of ancient Egypt. And he's laughing when he's saying it, because they're going to take the book and they're going to rewrite it again.
New building off the side?
That's in Memphis, actually.
It's in Memphis?
Yeah.
Oh, so that's where you were?
Yeah.
I see.
Memphis, the capital of ancient Egypt.
Right. Yeah, you're bringing what?
Perhaps that's where our new God will come from.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Yeah, I wish that was funny. Yeah, okay, so I want to talk to you about alignment.
I wish that was funny.
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
That's where our new God will come from.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Yeah, I wish that was funny. Yeah, okay, so I want to talk to you about alignment.
I wish that was funny.
Yeah, right.
They're laughing in your face because you think you studying, you listening to be approved, glancing to be approved, reading over scripture to be approved, doing absolutely nothing to be approved, but he says study yourself to be approved. Hallelujah scriptures. Deuteronomy in Hebrew, chapter 28. By the way, this entire chapter is about the slave trades. And Yahuwah, this is our Creator's real name, shall bring you back to Mitzrayim. This is Egypt in ships. Keeping in mind, America is ancient Egypt, and Elon Musk just told you this. To you.
So you find that in the reading of Psalms 83, you see how Ishmael joined the other nations to destroy Joshua as a nation. So that's Psalms 83. So now right here in the reading of Joel 3, we were sold what? To the Greeks, right? We were sold to the Greeks. Okay. In the reading of Acts 1, it tells you, okay, did Abba sold us, but we cry out to him. Another time he appeared to them, and they asked him, Adonai, are you going to free Joshua from Rome now and restore to us as an independent nation? So you see, we're still under Rome. That's the Rothschilds. They run everything. They run Rome. So now the reading of Zechariah, that's why you see all these IDF soldiers here in our lands. They're supposed to return our lands to us, and they want to, because it tells you that they will repeat what they did to us in the first place. But the 400 years are up, and they have to return the lands to us. Okay, so now here, this is the reading of Zechariah, I believe 9. And it tells you, this is when Daddy, you see, I will make my people strong again. These are the last days. This is all the last days, okay? And it tells you that Daddy will be here with who? With his two people, Jehudah, the tribes of Ephraim, which is the northern kingdom, and Jehudah, the southern kingdom. And he's going to burnish his sword against who? Greece, the children of Greece. So this is Rome. So this is the system they gave us. This is the matrix system. because you either follow the matrix is for the wound, the goddess worship. So what you're doing is Abrahamic religions are actually goddess worship. So this Christendom that's what it is. Islam and Judaism, it's all the same thing. It's a slave system that they gave to the world. So get out of her.
Satan's true name is God. We are not supposed to be calling upon the name God, and I'm going to show you. So I'm reading from the book of Enoch, which was removed from our Bibles. This is referring to a type of angels and their names. And the third was named Gadriel, or shortened would be God. He it is who shown the children of men all the blows of death, and he led astray Eve. So this is literally talking about Satan, the one who led astray Eve, right, in the garden. His true name is Gadriel, which shortened would be God. Now if you go on Google and you type in God definition, you'll see this little name pop up next to it, G-A-D, God. The same way it's pronounced in Enoch, with that little vowel point above the A. Now look at this. Baal God means Lord of Fortune. Why do you think on the back of our money it says, "In God we trust"? It's not talking about the Most High of the Bible. This is a reference to Satan, the evil one. Now check this out. Every time you see Baal in the scriptures, it actually is just the Hebrew word for Lord. So we're not supposed to be calling him Lord either. All right, go into the Blue Letter Bible, click on Baal, and you will see it literally means Lord, which is the name they planted over the name Yahuwah 7,000 times in the scriptures. Every time you see in all caps the Lord, it was originally his name, Yahuwah. If you don't believe me, go fact check me. I have studied to show myself approved, and I'm just revealing to you guys what I have found. Don't shoot the messenger. Now remember what I said, we're not supposed to be calling him Lord because it actually means Baal. Go to Jeremiah 23 verse 27, whose true name is Yirmiyahu, who attempt to cause my people to forget my name for Baal, or Lord. Remember guys, Satan is literally the father of lies. Look at this. However, the word Baal means Lord. Look it up. Right, a proper terminology would be Elohim or Elohim. It means mighty one. But we should really be calling upon his name. Now, I can confidently say that the Most High knows our hearts. Right, and he is abundant with grace and mercy. But now that you have this information, do your research on the name of Yahuwah and pray about it. All right, don't treat this pearl like a swine.
And next spring, we will host a major prayer event on the National Mall to rededicate our country as one nation under God. We're not changing that. A lot of people would like to see it. It'll never happen.
In the back. You will never see the Pope without these family members in the background. Pallavicini, Orsini, Farnese, Borgia, Borghese, Aldobrandini. If you punch in Google Islam and then Pallavicini family, you will see who is running Islam. It's a Roman Empire, Italian, Persian family called Pallavicini. And when you break that word down, it means those who are close to Allah. Guarantee you 100%, brother, they run everything.
And those families are also the ones that are the original Illuminati, right?
Yep. And their names are not their real names. Those are corporate names. Queen Elizabeth, she is an Orsini. But when you look at her lineage, you will see many other names. Well, those are corporations which come under the Maximum family, which is the Orsini family. They are the Maxima. They hold most of the power.
Would you claim that the Orsini family are more powerful than the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers?
The Rothschilds are Orsini.
Yeah, but didn't the Rothschilds change their name from Bauer originally?
Yeah, that's true. Bauer is another corporate name. Remember, your surname is a corporate name, which is copyrighted by the Vatican. You'll never see the
Okay, so if you don't know the context of this video, the angel Gabriel came to Muhammad. It says it grabbed him so tight. I say it for a reason here in a second. It grabbed him so tight and said, recite the Quran, that Muhammad tried to kill himself 3 times. Ooh, ouch. Your prophet tried to throw himself from cliffs because he thought the revelation that he was receiving was from the devil. 1 Corinthians 11:14. it says that Satan can appear as an angel of light. And in the Quran and in Hadith, it says that the angel of light, ooh, bummer, Gabriel came to Muhammad, gave him a new revelation completely contrary to the gospel, which Galatians 1 verses 6 through 9 says that even if an angel preaches you a different gospel, let them be cursed from God, by God. And an angel cursed by God is a demon. So I just have to wonder if Muhammad tried to kill himself, believing the revelation he was receiving was from a demon, preached it of the gospel, and predicted in the Bible 500 years before Muhammad was born. And just, it's not looking good for the Revis he got, the heavy Revis. But that's just me.
So now to the so-called Star of David, because there's no Star of David. And that star is everywhere. It's on all our flags because these principalities run everything. As you notice, all the flags of the world either has sun, moon, and stars because these are the principalities over all our nations. So it tells you, David, my servant, the Mashiach, should be their king and their only shepherd, and they shall obey my laws and all my wishes. They shall live in the land of Jashurel, where their fathers lived, and the land I gave my servant Jacob, and they their children, and after them shall live there, and their grandchildren for all generations, and my servant David, the Mashiach, shall be their prince forever. And I will make a covenant of peace, not that fake peace that they're doing, with them, an everlasting pact, and I will bless them and multiply them, and put my temple among them forever. So you see, so David is our Mashiach, right? This is what it tells you right here. We're supposed to keep his laws of Abba, and this is what this represents, right? So what did they do? And so they put that Star of David everywhere. So the Star of David is not the star because David did not have a star. So they replaced it. So it's actually the Star of Allah, and I'm going to show you that. So instead of, you see, so they say that David, his servant, they were supposed to keep his covenant and laws, right? The Mashiach. Then they said, they put the double star and called it the Star of David. So you would think that that's David's peace agreement, David's star, David everything. That's not daddy's anything. That is the God of this world for Gadriel. It has nothing to do with Yahuwah. Okay? That is for Allah. It's all the same people, the same big demon. All of them is the same thing.
Bible about that, or the Star of David? Where does that symbol come from?
It's never written explicitly in the Bible itself.
Is it in the Talmud? Is there a passage in the Bible about that, or no?
No.
Okay. So you're not really sure exactly where that comes from?
No. You got me.
Nobody knows,
huh? I don't know. I'm not, yeah.
Because I know it's called the Star of David.
Yeah.
Does that have anything to do with David?
No, I don't think so. There must be somewhere. I do not remember exactly what the association was.
Okay. I believe that what they call the Star of David is actually the Star of Remphan. Because when you study the Bible, you'll see that when they worshipped other gods, the Bible talks about them carrying the banner of the star of their god Remphan.
You rejected the God of the Bible. You took up for yourself the star, that's the six-pointed star, of your God, called Remphan or Kiyun. All these were names for Moloch, the great Baal, the great fire god, who was the devil.
Beelzebub.
That's right, Beelzebub. And they were shocked about this. Now, who is this star god? If they only read the Old Testament, they would know this. In Amos, God said, you have taken up the star, and you've made me furious by doing that. And you have actually sacrificed your own children to the star god through the fires. They sacrificed their own children, the Jews did, to the star god.
When they worshipped a false god, they had the Star of Remphan as an icon and as a symbol. We never see a Star of David in Scripture, but the star of the false god Remphan. And so we know today that they are not worshiping the true God, because the Bible says, he that denieth the Son, the same hath not the Father. But he that acknowledgeth the Son hath the Father also. If the Jews do not believe on the Son, the Bible says they don't have the Father. So who do they have? Somebody else, a false God. Therefore, they're not worshiping the same God that we worship. Some people will say, oh, they worship God the Father, they just don't acknowledge Jesus. But the Bible teaches that it's impossible to worship the Father if you don't acknowledge the Son.
You get back to the Masonic fraternity of Freemasonry. Yeah. Their great symbol is G. You'll look at the star on the compass. which is a stylized Star of David. In fact, they have the entire Star of David in many Masonic temples. Why is that? Masonry is a study of Judaism and of the Kabbalah.
Covered this before, so the reading of Genesis 9. Okay, so Ham got cursed, right? The curse of the Canaanites, right? But remember that the Gentile nations are grafted onto the tree of life. Remember that. Keep that in mind. You're grafted onto the tree of life. But, so they were to become slaves, you see? And may Canaan be his slaves to who? Japheth and to Shem. But Shem broke covenant, and now we're also slaves. We're slaves to Japheth. So at this point, Japheth is running the whole world because he has enslaved Shem and the Canaanites as well, Ham, right? The Hamites. So that's why you see how in the Arab trade, do you see that they get the Africans and they enslave them? Excuse me, let me just turn this off. Excuse me. So they enslaved the Africans as well because the Africans are Hamites. And also the Indians from India, how they got colonized and enslaved as well because they're also Hamites. So Japheth just runs the world because they fell under the curses, and Shem was supposed to be enslaved for 400 years, and after that set free and our lands returned to us. And again, guys, the Gentile nations are grafted onto a tree of life because of the branch it broke off, which was the tribe of Dan, and they're grafted into the tree of life. There's always salvation in Yahushua. And remember, America is Canaan. Was Canaan, is Canaan. And that's why the black people in America came and got enslaved by the Moors of Europe, because the black nobility, the Moors of Europe were colonizers, and their colonizers were originally black. They mixed with the Neanderthal races, and over time they got lighter and lighter. But the black nobility was black, and the black nobility still works with the Vatican, Rome today.
In the language of the Arabs, all black peoples are called abid, plural, for slaves. While much has been written concerning the transatlantic slave trade, surprisingly little attention has been paid to the Islamic slave trade across the Sahara, the Red Sea, and the Indian Ocean. A minimum of 28 million Africans were enslaved in the Muslim Middle East. Since at least 80% of those captured by Muslim slave traders were calculated to have died before reaching the slave markets, it is believed that the death toll from 1400 years of Arab and Muslim slave raids into Africa could have been as high as 112 millions. When added to the number of those sold in the slave markets, the total number of African victims of the trans-Saharan and East African slave trade could be significantly higher than 140 million people.
We let in, mind you, immigrants from Africa, Ethiopian Jews, who come into this country. I think it's the first time that we have actually transported black Africans from Africa, not to enslave them, but in fact to liberate them.
This is not the first time you've transported black Africans from Africa. Let's check the receipts. At the height of U.S. slavery, 78% of slave owners were Juicy. Since only 1.6% of the total population owned slaves, and Juicies made up 3% of the total population, that means that 40% of Juicies own slaves, while only 0.35% of whites own slaves. Tons of those slave ships were named, owned, and navigated by Juicies. And one more fun fact before I let you go. Did you ninjas know that the slave auction block was closed for Juicy holidays?
But these were Jewish people owning the land. They were the majority. They were the merchants. They were the traders. They knew how to hook up with their brethren in the north. And they would send raw cotton to the mills in England, in Manchester, Leeds, and Bristol. And the British would turn it into cloth and then sell it all over the world. The Rothschilds became rich from cotton. The Lehman Brothers became rich from cotton in Alabama, then moved to New York and Wall Street.
According to this article from the Museum of the Jewish Experience, it reads, an advertisement in North Carolina's Wilmington Journal in 1847 reveals a stain on the local Juicy history. Ansley Davis, who came from Petersburg, Virginia, published an ad under the heading, Negroes Wanted. The text stated, I wish to purchase a large number of Negroes of both sexes, from the age of 14 to 30, for which I will pay the highest cash market price. Davis, whose family owned one of the largest Juicy-run slave trading companies in the entire South, would tour the region every summer seeking new slaves, which he later sold. And Davis was not the only Southern Juicy who made a living in the slave trade prior to the Civil War. David Wise of New Orleans also put up slaves for sale at the time, working out of a depot on the city's Baronne Street. Quote, has always on hand a large number of slaves which will be sold for cash, according to an ad that he placed in a paper. A fine lot of young, likely able-bodied Negroes, girls and men, excellent field hands. By the time the war broke out, New Orleans was the largest slave trading city in the South. The stories of Wise and Davis are presented on the website of the Museum of the Southern Jewish Experience, which opened in May of 2021 in New Orleans. You are now watching Crumb TV.
Unaccompanied alien children, referred to as UACs. A UAC is a person as to when they entered the country and were encountered by DHS. They have no lawful immigration status in the United States. They have not attained 18 years of age and has no parent or legal guardian in the country available to provide care and physical custody. Each year, thousands of UACs have entered the United States and are placed into federal custody. Federal government has a responsibility not just for enforcing immigration laws, but for ensuring the safety and welfare of these at-risk children. While ICE's immigration enforcement priorities typically weigh the risk an alien poses to the public, but with UACs, the agency must also ensure a vulnerable child does not become the victim of trafficking or otherwise exploitation. Our audit revealed significant gaps in how ICE monitors and manages the cases of UACs once they're released from federal custody. The lack of reliable location data, persistent delays in issuing notices to appear, and limited interagency cooperation has led to potentially tens of thousands of children effectively disappearing from DHS's oversight. This is not simply an administrative or paperwork shortcoming. It's a systemic breakdown that carries real risk to the children themselves, to the integrity of the immigration system, and to the public trust in our immigration system and law enforcement institutions. In 2023, my office initiated this audit after two key events. The first was a change in a 2021 Memorandum of Agreement between DHS and the Department of Health and Human Services. Specifically, the parties removed the requirement for HHS Office of Refugee Resettlement to provide ICE with biographic and biometric information and all potential sponsors and adult members of that household, which were then used for vetting. The second was significant media reporting involving UACs, which were potentially in dangerous conditions following their placement into a sponsor's care by HHS. Early into the audit, it became clear that the uncertainty surrounding the whereabouts of such a large number of UACs warranted a management alert to flag this matter for the Department of Homeland Security as well as Congress, and we issued that in August 2024. In our final report, which was published in March of this year, my team found that between fiscal years 2019 and 23, ICE did not effectively monitor the location and status of all UACs once released or transferred to HHS custody. In that time, ICE transferred more than 448,000 UACs to HHS, most of whom were released to sponsors. Of that population, ICE did not issue more than 233,000 notices to appear to the UACs to generate an assignment in their immigration court. Our auditors discovered that more than 31,000 releases, addresses of sponsors were blank, undeliverable, or missing apartment numbers. We also learned more than 43,000 UACs who were served with notices to appear failed to actually appear for their scheduled court date. As I stated at the beginning of my testimony, ICE's posture for monitoring UACs was insufficient. The shortcomings leave children vulnerable to exploitation, trafficking, forced labor, or involvement in criminal activities. Without sustained data sharing coordination at the federal level and staffing and overall policy guidance to DHS, they will not be able to guarantee that UACs are safeguarded from harm while in the United States.
The name that the goddess goes by is Colombia, as in the District of Columbia, the three cities that run the world: Washington, D.C., Rome, and London. And she's the one that sits on many waters. Google how many Statue of Liberties throughout the world. You're going to see that America isn't the only one that has that statue.
Did you see it? You haven't seen it? You have to see it. Today I'm here to explain the symbology behind these three monuments that are in three different parts of the world. Here you can see the Masonic Square in the lower jaw, in the upper jaw. Between the eyes is the Statue of Liberty, or Lucifer, and above, the crown, and it is a dragon. Let's start with the lower jaw. Apart from the Masonic Square, it says something about Italian Free Moria, and above it has the torch of the Statue of Liberty. At the top, it says Rome or death, what they can interpret as Rome or death, but in Da Vinci's mirror writing, it actually says love or death. You already know the famous saying that all roads lead to Rome, but do all roads really lead to love? Both this and the previous one are in Italy, and both are monuments to Giuseppe Mazzini. And you also see here the Masonic Square between the eyes. This would be the upper part of the skull, between the two eyes you can see. Lucifer, because this is the Scarlet Dragon, just like the base of the Statue of Liberty. The third monument, which is the crown, is dedicated to Alfonso Henrique de la Colina Sagrada and is located in Brazil and is the first king of Portugal. This is how it turns out when they unite the three monuments. You can clearly see the Scarlet Dragon with Lucifer between its eyes. I marked it there so you could appreciate it better, but that dragon and that character are the same as the Statue of Liberty, and it is the Scarlet Beast from the Book of Revelation with the Great Harlot. Did you see it? I saw it. We all saw it.